What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Cheese Talk podcast. I'm your host, Brian. It's been a while. Life gets busy, life gets crazy. We all know how that goes, but sports don't stop. So that's why I got Chuck on today. What's up, Chuck? It's been a while. A lot has happened along with the Wisconsin sports teams, the Bucks, the Packers, the Badgers, the Brewers. I think we'll have quite a bit to talk about tonight. Yeah, I'm going to agree with you there. I happened to, or I managed to get to the draft Friday and Saturday. That was it was actually, I thought it was gonna be total chaos. It was actually put together pretty good. I mean, as far as um like entrance and leaving and uh $7 for or $10 for a bottle of soda was kind of ridiculous, but they didn't catch my cheese curds I smuggled in, so it's um Yeah, I uh, I want to start off by giving a shout out to the Open Network, Iowa Joe, Mike Kawano, Aaron Davis. I actually met up with Iowa Joe at the draft, and I actually met up with Aaron Davis, and I was also able to meet up with my buddy Mr. First Down, a big Titans fanatic, Sammy. So that was kind of cool. I know I've posted a couple of pictures on social media of Sam and I. Our plan was to meet up and contact was kind of going back and forth, and I just got into Lambeau or the draft, and I'm sitting there walking, and all of a sudden I see this guy with the big old foam Titans hat on, the big blue and white and whatever color boa is around his neck, and he's holding a beer or a drink or whatever, and he's walking to the bathroom. And, hey, I know you. So that's kind of funny how we met up, and but yeah. So what are your thoughts on the Packers offseason so far? What do you think? Do you have any concerns going into the season after what you've seen so far in training camp? The one thing that I like and I don't like about so far with training camp and everything is Nate Hobbs. I love that. I mean, like, we don't know much about him, but what from what I've heard so far in camp and everything is he's like a missile out there. What have I been preaching that we need? We need on defense. We need someone to go out there and make those big hits, you know. And I would rather have him out there making big hits and out there playing versus being hurt on the sidelines, not playing, paying a guy all this money. So I think that can be infectious with the defense. And hey, what we had in the past wasn't working. What the hell? Why not? You know what I'm saying?
The other day, I know LaFleur got on Hobbs, because I think he kind of hit someone a little too hard during and got a little nasty during practice, and it's like I'm kind of fine with that because, like you said, like you mentioned, it's infectious, and you start playing the Bears, the Vikings, and you start lighting people up like that. Yeah, that's going to get you pumped up, and that's the type of stuff we need. I think we were kind of we saw the defense get a little better as the season went on last year, and hopefully they can take that next step. So
Yeah, I like. I mean, Van Ness, a guy that big.
mhm.
If you can't get that guy to play football with his size and be productive, I mean,
Yeah,
it's. I mean, I next man up. You know,
yeah,
it's.
exactly.
I'm hoping to see more out of Kenny Clark and Rashawn Gary compared to what we saw last year because
Yeah,
the
Kenny
money
was
they're
off
making,
last
it
year.
was awful.
Yeah, yeah,
You know. Um, yeah, you mentioned Golden, and everyone's. I think if he can prove to be what he sounds like he's going to be this upcoming year, I think. I mean, the Packers did a hell of a job drafting him first.
yeah,
He's got that mentality. Like the ball's in the. Obviously, it's his job. He's a receiver, but ball's in the air. I'm going to go get it. But he has the speed,
Ooh,
and I think something to that is going to help him is we got Dobbs, you got Reed. People are forgetting about Mecole Hardman.
yeah, oh yeah,
I've seen video of him in training camp just absolutely torching cornerbacks.
yeah,
So at some point, someone's going to get double teamed. It's going to leave some one of these dangerous receivers open, and what do you do? You know.
yeah. And I
So
like the news yesterday that Christian Watson, he's ahead of his recovery, and he ran 22 miles an hour yesterday, and he says his all time high is 23, and that's pretty much that's flying. So if he's ahead of schedule, and you give Matthew Golden half a season, and Watson comes back, and you got a couple burners like that, Love's gonna have some fun.
yeah,
Mm,
definitely, it's going to definitely take some of the pressure off because instead of having an extra guy blitzing the quarterback, you're going to have an extra guy guarding or double teaming a receiver, which is going to
yeah.
create chaos for opposing defenses.
Yeah, so
So it's
yeah, we'd make them pay for blitzing us. So
who's it? Who do you think is the next big contract getting signed in Green Bay? Do you think it's a lineman or a receiver?
honestly, I don't think it's a receiver. I don't. I think because Dobbs is up next, and I think actually Dobbs and Watson are up next, and so I think it might be Devontae Wyatt if he has a good season.
Yeah. Do you think they retain Quay Walker,
Well,
depending
I
on how
know
the
they
season
didn't
goes?
pick up his fifth year, on his rookie contract, and I know Quay's made mistakes in coverage and being, but I just love the fact that he's so darn fast. And if we just get a group of, so I think this year is really dependent if Quay is going to be a Packer next year. He's got to take that next step, because you see all those flashes of brilliance, there, but you also see the mistakes. And if we can narrow down the mistakes and maybe Heffley can help, but I think he's going to need that to happen in order to continue to become a Packer.
Yeah, I think the Packers are going to have a couple of guys on the team that are undrafted that are going to make a difference. I think that Nazir Stackhouse, I think he's going to do good. He's a big boy.
Yeah. And
Um,
I saw an interview with him, and they were talking how Heffley and them, they want the line. They want them to be swiping at the ball. They want to create turnovers. They've made it an emphasis this camp, and so hopefully we'll get to see some of that. That'd be great.
yeah, I mean, and you go back and you look at that Baron Sorrell, round four, pick 124.
Hmm.
Warren Brinson, D tackle out of Georgia. I mean, there's a bunch of guys that are out there that that want to get paid, and they're gonna, only one way to get paid big money is to have production. So they want to go out there and produce, obviously, and
Right.
that's what's nice about. I mean, just you know, that's what's so cool about football is you get guys that are making a minimum contract and they come in and they make themselves and they make the money. I just hope they can light a fire under Van Ness's ass and have him go out there and have some production too, because that's just frustrating. I'm like a guy that what's he like 6'5", six
Yeah,
six,
six
and
five.
he's
Yeah,
huge
he's fast. He's got
and
he's got all the physical tools. And so
he
yeah,
just,
to
he
not
just
see
couldn't
it
do
happen.
anything. He can't penetrate the offensive line and disrupt anything.
So
It's frustrating, but
I mean, he's doing well in camp, but you got to take everything you see in camp with a grain of salt too. So you know,
yeah. Do you think? I mean, Love didn't have the year he had last year as he did the previous year. Injuries obviously kind of hampered him a little bit. Do you think he has a bounce back year this year?
oh, I definitely do, and I think some of the talking heads on ESPN have even backed that up. I like the fact that he's got how well the Packers ran the ball last year. Granted, some of it was with Malik when he was quarterback because they felt they had to. But I think if Musgrave picks up like he's having a good camp with Kraft, and then the receivers, yeah, um I think Love's going to take another step forward. So you know you the last part of his first year playing, how well he did down the stretch, those last 8 and 9 games. I don't know if he can do that well, but if I'd like to think he can take a step up from last year, and I think being now his third year of being a starter, he's learning things. It's a tough position, so I think they're headed in the right direction with him.
Sure. What do you think about Sterling Sharp getting in the Hall of Fame? About damn time, right?
Exactly. For someone my age, I grew up, when we drafted him, and at the time, Favre, he says, "I'm throwing it to Sterling Sharp. Everyone knows it." And he still did, and he still got it to him. He double triple. He was strong, he was fast, he ran routes so well. And a fun thing for Wisconsin people sometimes is you go listen to Chicago radio and hear them bitch about the game, especially after Packer Bear game. I went one day and listened, and they go, you know, Favre should really spread it out. They should give everyone number 84 on the Packers, and then that way, because he would always target Sharp, and yet he's still if he wouldn't have been injured, with his neck, his numbers would have rivaled, been up there with Jerry Rice. I mean, he
It's,
was that good.
it's crazy. I get, it's always fun to, throw salt in the wound of Bear fans. So I've brought this up before. I went and I did a little research here and like Favre and Rodgers versus the Bears, right? So
Mhm.
I'm sure I've mentioned this before, but combined they have a 47-18 record against the Bears in their 30 years of whatever of playing the Bears. They had Favre had 745 completions. I couldn't remember Rodgers. I forgot to write it down. But combined, they've had over 15,000 passing yards against the Bears, 124 touchdowns, and 52 interceptions. And 42 of those interceptions were from Brett Favre. So Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers threw 64 touchdowns and 10 picks against the Bears in his career.
And I remember that one game where Rodgers had 6 touchdowns before the half. It was like 42-0 at half against the Bears. That was a wonderful day.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Like to think in 30 little, give or take 30 years, it was
Mm-hmm.
47-18 against the Bears. And
Yeah.
the amount of starting quarterbacks the Bears have had in 35 years. I don't even want. I got writer's cramp writing it all down.
Okay.
So it
Yeah.
was just
I think only the Browns kind of rival that.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe they won a game against us last year, but it's hopefully this year is a whole different story. Um, and seeing these reports from Ben Johnson lighting up the Bears during training camp, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be kind of fun to sit back and watch and see what happens.
Yeah, it should be because you hear the pundits saying, "Oh, Packers are going to get last place in the division. Bears are going to rival them." It's like, well, I think it's going to be a tough division. I think the Vikings, they have the bigger question mark now with their first year quarterback McCarthy, who was hurt last year. You know that's they have a good team around him, but it's not easy for first year starter as we know. So I think we could be right up there with them, but
Yeah,
it's
I
gonna.
mean, the way the Lions. I don't know. I didn't watch much of the Hall of Fame game,
Yeah, I did.
and it just. I mean, they got their asses kicked.
Yeah,
I
they
don't
did.
care how you look at it. I mean, hopefully that's a sign of things to come for the Detroit
Yeah,
Lions.
they had a ridiculous amount of injuries at the end of the year, especially on their defense, and obviously they're not going to replicate that again. So I think they'll be fine. I just uh, I just think they're going to be challenged. That's all.
Yeah, I think when you lost Ben Johnson, I think that is going to hurt them big
Yeah,
time.
yeah, I agree.
I,
So
I think he was kind of masking the faults of Dan Campbell.
yeah,
So we'll see what happens, and that's the good part about this is we get to watch these teams, ride that peak for a little bit, then fall off. It happened to us too. I mean,
oh yeah, yeah,
it all depends on how your coaching staff can retool your team and you bring in new faces. The Packers got back. They got back two of their coaches from years past, didn't they? They got back. I can't even think of the name. The quarterbacks coach that Rodgers liked that went to.
Clemens, Tom Clemens.
No, they
What?
got back. Was what coach
Oh,
went to
the one who went to the
Skanovich
Jets.
and I don't know one that went to Denver. I don't know. I
Mhm.
forgot. Anyway, they were there when things are good in Green Bay, so hopefully they can kind of help things out.
Yeah,
And what do you think is going to be the starting offensive line? I got Rasheed Walker at left tackle, Aaron Banks
yeah,
at guard, Jenkins at center, Sean
yeah,
Ryan at right guard, Zach Tom at right tackle.
yeah, yeah. The ones, yeah, the right side you nailed. I mean, I think Banks, because I don't think Banks he's locked in for the whole year like Jenkins and Zach Tom and you know so and Walker, I don't think he's going to get re-signed. So I think if he has any slips, I don't, it sounds like they're confident in Jordan Morgan, so that might be something. But I think you're right on with who's going to start the season, and so I think the depth is a little better this year. So just remember in the Eagles game how pitiful it got when Elton Jenkins went out, and then it's like, man, it was like a free for all to the quarterback after that, and so I think the depth at that position is really necessary. So
If you were a betting man, what would you predict their record being?
um, uh, I think it's going to be a really tough season. So I think we're going to kind of stay on par, and we're going to do that. Uh, 9-8, 10-7. I think we're going to be a little better, so it'll be 10-7 this year. Because I
Ten
mean,
and
just our
seven.
yeah,
Yeah, there it is quite a tough schedule, but you never know. Obviously, with injuries, could happen with other teams, with our team, whatnot.
yeah,
Um, I guess last year I predicted. I think whatever I guessed last year is actually how we finished.
How's
I
that?
think I guessed like what was it, like 11-6. I think I guessed, or 12-5. I think I guessed 11-6 last year. I'm gonna go with you and probably go 10-7 or 11-6.
Okay.
Um,
I
you
hope
never want
that's
to
right.
hope for injuries, but they always seem to happen with the way they have the training, and it sucks, but it happens to every team, you know.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm hoping that the defense is consistently good, like there was started to be in the later part of the season. And if it is like that through the season, then you don't have to score 40 points a game to win, and I think that's going to make the difference in this season how well the defense consistently plays.
You talk about defense, and I was making posts or making this kind of whatever, and I was going back and I was looking at Charles Woodson stats when he played for the Packers, and he played for the Packers for 7 years, from 2006 to 2012. In those 7 years, he had 38 interceptions. This isn't 100 games, so he
Yeah,
had 38 interceptions. He had 465 tackles, 11 and a half sacks, 15 forced fumbles, 5 fumble recoveries, and 9 defensive touchdowns.
that sounds wow. That's a
That is
lot. Huh?
crazy. And
Yeah,
that's only 7 years. He had he played for the Raiders for more than 7 years
yeah.
combined. That's flipping. He has a fifth. He's a fifth. He's fifth in history with interceptions in the NFL.
Wow. Well, just the fantastic part, he was so athletic, but he wasn't a big, he didn't have a big frame, he was kind of, smaller, and yet he was never afraid to tackle. He'd go in, that's the impressive part, not only was he super athletic, he was smart and he was, and yeah, you gotta have guys like that. But I think we're gonna need a better pass rush, you know, to help out. McKinney did great last year, but to give especially our cornerbacks a little help if we get a good pass rush, then they don't have to cover for 5, 6 seconds, which is really hard to do in the NFL. So I think
Yeah,
that'll be a
I've been
key.
preaching that too. You got to get to the quarterback as quick as you can because the cornerback can't trail a receiver for more than like 6, 7 seconds. Someone's gonna break down, you know.
Yeah, no
So
doubt,
it's
no
just
doubt.
the quicker you can get to the quarterback, get the ball in the air, and that leaves the cornerback and defense with more energy to to make a play on the ball. I just
Definitely.
yeah, you're not going to win games being Packers had what a top 10 defense last year, but still it wasn't enough.
Oh no, no, yeah,
You-
yeah, and then conversely, obviously, our offensive line, because of that same point, they got to give Love that time, and let guys like Golden and Dubs and Wicks, get open, and think if we can do that, I think we're going to be in good shape. And I see Kraft being a go-to guy on third down, and a lot of times and getting first downs for us, moving those chains, and think he's
if you get like 4 or 5 like solid receivers out there, then you get at the same time you got 2 solid tight ends out there catching balls. I mean, it's going to give the defense nightmares.
yeah. And I don't think we can underestimate how well Josh Jacobs did last year. And now there's rumors that they're not going to run the ball as much as they did last year, but just the fact that he's a threat, I think is important, and maybe throw him the ball a few more times too, and see what he can do with that. I think would be also helpful.
That's another crazy stat. Last year, his receiving touchdown was his first receiving touchdown in his professional career.
Right.
That's mind blowing.
Oh, it is. Yeah, for some
And,
reason.
and you say though, like, so if they're not, this is kind of how I interpret what you just said. They're not going to run the ball as much. People might be like, well, boo. But if we're not running the ball much and we're having a lot of success passing the ball,
Hmm.
the runs that he is going to run, I think they're going to be bigger for bigger gains and more production that way. He might not get as many carries, but he might have as many yards because obviously we all know a good pass game opens up a run game. So
Right.
that's how I interpret that, and that's how I hope it goes for the Packers. So
Mhm.
that's a good thing in my eyes.
Oh yeah, especially when you're moving the ball efficiently enough that hey, we can run the ball on a normal passing down. You're going to get different looks that are more favorable to a run, and so yeah, I think that's gonna be great. Get that yards per run, average higher than most of the other teams.
Yeah, because he had a good year last year. He
Yeah,
I mean, it just sucks about Marshawn Lloyd. I
he was
really had
looking
high
so
hopes
good,
for
but
him.
then the injury bug again. It's frustrating because I think that would be a real nice combo. Him and Jacobs, and obviously even Emmanuel Wilson. Was good last year, and even Chris Brooks. So I think we got a real solid room there if they can stay healthy.
Yeah. Well, let's hope the Packers, are successful and look good and don't prove us wrong on what we're guessing because
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, because
So
according to some people that don't like the Packers, we're like in year three of our rebuild, and
yeah, I think teams would love to be in a rebuild where they're in the playoffs the last 2 years.
yeah, and
That's
even look at the salary cap that
oh
that
yeah,
we have, and especially after these next few years is going to be huge for the Packers, and um, I just think. I just think that I mean, yeah, we didn't go as far as we wanted to last year, but I still think that there's a bright future ahead for the Packers. You know,
definitely.
people are like, you got fans that are like, are know what reality is. It's obviously it's a business. It's people want to fire Goody and people want to do this and do
Yeah.
that, and it's just like, if they were horrible at their job, they wouldn't be where they are. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's just
Oh,
it's
exactly.
frustrating, but just all we can do is sit back and watch. So
Yeah, and
I'm going
remember
with
the last 2 years we were the youngest team in the NFL, and yet we are still making the playoffs with a new quarterback. I think that's pretty impressive. Well, I grew up going to the games with my dad in the '70s and '80s when we weren't even sniffing the playoffs, and so I I appreciate this. I'm not taking this, even these playoff, one and out. I'm not taking them for granted. We're going the right path. I just maybe want to take if they can find to take the next step to push it to the next level, the front office needs to do that, and that's hopefully we can get that done.
yeah, for sure. Well, we're gonna switch over to the Milwaukee Bucks and talk about them
Yeah,
because I think they're gonna make some noise this year. Considering the team in the East, I don't know, that became a rival for the Bucks the last couple of years, especially in the playoffs.
yeah.
Their star is going to be out all the next year, Tyrese
Tyrese
Halliburton.
Halliburton. Yep.
Um, and not only that, but we stole one of their big men,
Yeah,
Miles
Miles Turner.
Turner, in free
Yep.
agency, which I think caught everyone in the basketball world by surprise.
Definitely.
And then people are all the media uh, talking about Giannis.
Giannis.
Giannis. I said Giannis because my daughter's name is Giannis.
Oh,
I know
okay.
it's Giannis. And, then off season, he's immediately over in Greece. He's bringing teammates over to practice with
Oh
him.
yeah.
Like, he ain't going anywhere. If there's any player in the basketball that's not going to leave their team for his
Yeah,
whole
it's
entire career, it's going to be Giannis. You
yeah.
know, he 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 he's loyal.
Yes. And
Milwaukee gave him a chance. If it wasn't for, you know what I'm saying, they
yeah.
did so much for him. He's not going to leave the city of Milwaukee. There's no
Well,
way.
I was living here in North Carolina. A lot of the people don't understand the relationship between Giannis and Milwaukee, and I'm trying to tell them, A, he's not going anywhere. The the front office, they taught him how to drive. Senator Cole got John Kerry to get his family into the country. There's a
Yeah,
lot of there's a lot of things between them. He's not going anywhere. He loves Milwaukee. We love him probably even more, and he just wants to just make sure we're um, we're competitive. And I think the Bucks have been doing that. They've been making the effort. I think Horst has done a piss poor job drafting, but he's really good at making trades. And
You can't draft when you had no first round draft picks. What are you
yeah,
going to do? And
well,
then the guy they got is going back overseas for a year to develop.
yeah, because he was a project to begin with. And I know some of my guys at work who, oh man, you guys got rid of Dame, and it's like, I first of all, he wasn't going to play hardly any of the season. He wasn't happy here. I think the Bucks did right by him, and then in the future, I think the other players know that. If we're going to get free agents, going forward. I mean, I didn't like the fact that we had to, you know, take his salary. They divided it among 4 years, so we're kind of eating 20 million a year for the next 5 years. So that kind of stinks. But I love the fact that we got Miles Turner and Giannis. You know, blocking, just defense, and plus, as much as we all loved Brook and his shot blocking and his Splash Mountain, there was a lot of times, at least the last couple of years, where Brook was kind of unplayable, just because at 37, his wasn't as quick as he used to be, and I think we'll be more athletic. We'll be a little younger, and I think we got a great front court with Giannis and Miles Turner. Hopefully, even the rebounding will get better. So, um, I I like that. I like the Cole Anthony pickup. And the fact that we were able to keep Gary Trent Jr. and we got Cole Anthony. I think
Everybody, we
we
got
got
everybody back.
deeper, and pretty much everyone except Giannis is practically a shooter. And so I'm because I'm sure we've all of us Bucks fans in the past have, okay, Giannis is going out in the second quarter. And it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna lose that that 8 point lead to when Giannis goes out, and so often it did. And I'd like the fact that hopefully we're a little deeper now, so when the second unit comes in, the world doesn't end, and we, you know, lose that lead. So I think that's what at least us hopeful Buck fans are looking for. I like some of the things we did, and I like the Jericho Sims, um, him as the backup center, just because he blocks shots, he hustles down the court, he rebounds, he just those type of things. You'll love
Yeah,
to
I mean,
see.
you look at Miles Turner and the stat I was reading. Like the only player last year to have like 150 blocks and like 153 pointers or something like that. It was him.
Yeah,
I mean, he's versatile. He can stretch defense when he's at the perimeter. You can't. He's like a you can't not guard him. He can hurt you
right,
from
right,
downtown. He can hurt you down low. Yeah, I mean, it's just you got Gary Trent Jr., you got Kevin Porter Jr., you got Taurine Prince,
right.
Sims, Ryan Rollins, Harris, Cole
Yep.
Anthony. I mean, it's it's a young team. It's a team that can run up and down the court.
And
Brooke. How many times did I bitch and make references to Brooke? He goes to block the shot. The shot's
mhm,
already in the air and he's already over. He can't reach it. It's like he wasn't too reactive in his older age. He
yeah.
wasn't anticipating the shot, and he's just yeah.
And for someone who was 7 foot, he really didn't rebound that well. He could block out, but what I was, when I used to coach my kids, it's like, don't wait for that ball to come to you. You go get the ball, like Bobby Portis does. Sometimes he even
Yeah, we
takes
got
it away
Portis
from
too.
Giannis sometimes on a rebound, but he's going for it, and that's what you need to do. And so
Yeah, for
hopefully,
sure. It's just, I mean, I'm sure I mean, Brooke. Yeah, he was good. I mean,
mhm,
it just sucks. We're all so sentimental going back to 2021.
yeah,
Drew Holiday. Then you got
Chris Middleton and
Middleton's gone now. Lopez is gone. It's Giannis is the last man standing. I'd rather have Giannis be the last man standing than having Brook Lopez or
Oh
even,
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
Middleton. It's kind of like, in a way, like Aaron Rodgers. He was key in getting us to the championship.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, but it is what it's a business.
Oh yeah.
He didn't do anything on his end to make his way out of Milwaukee. Just Milwaukee had to do something.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I think they would have rather kept Giannis. Again, Middleton was always hurt. And it's just it
Yeah.
sucks, but you can't if you want to be sentimental and keep all these players around, you're not going to be competitive one bit.
Right.
You
Right.
got to move them when you can move them, or else you're just screwed down the road.
Well, that was something Ted Thompson was good at. He always got rid of the guys like a year before they were probably done. I mean, to things like cutting Donald Driver or Jordy Nelson and stuff. That couldn't have been easy. Because we all the fans love those guys. And but you're right. It's a business. You got to do that. And so.
But I think you know I didn't think Porter. I mean, I had a feeling Porter would come back, but
Hmm.
you have like Gary Trent Jr. I mean, you give him an open shot, he's going to make it. He's good
Yeah.
on defense. Kevin Porter Jr. How many times did he come in for what I thought was, next thing you know, he's getting a triple double.
Right. Yeah.
You know, he's stuff from the stat sheet in a good way. Torian Prince, he's a good 3-point shooter. Sims, athletic, he can jump. Rollins is a baller, I think.
Yeah.
You know,
It's gonna be good.
and like Miles Turner, Gary. I mean, it's you don't know until you try. And what the Bucks had last year, you know, got them so far, but you need to get those players to get to the next level. And I think getting rid of Lopez and replacing him with Miles Turner
Oh
for
yeah.
4 years is awesome. I
Oh
wanted Miles
definitely.
Turner's back way back, 5-6 years
Oh
ago. I
yeah,
wanted the
yeah.
Bucks to get Miles Turner. So
Yeah, I
uh,
I think I think they did the hard work they had to do. They got younger, they got more athletic. They filled the roster with shooters around Giannis, and so I think they're stepping in the right direction. But there's probably if Kyle Kuzma is the kind of the body you like, he's athletic, he's 6'9", but he can't make squat. That was the frustrating part, because if he was more of an efficient scorer, I think he'd be great. But they may be looking to trade him.
yeah, he kind of gives me like Ben Simmons vibes,
Yeah.
but better than Ben Simmons, obviously.
Right, right. But yeah, it's frustrating, Oh, good. That's a good shot. Oh, you didn't make it. Oh,
Yeah, he
so
totally bricking his free throws. Like, if you can't think about the Lakers championship that they had in COVID in the bubble without
right.
thinking about Kuzma, is what he always said, or something like that.
Oh
Something
yeah.
stupid. You know, but do you think the Bucks did enough to be contenders next year?
Well, I think fortunately for the Bucks, the Celtics got a little worse in the offseason. Their contract numbers, they had to let some guys go. So do I think we're gonna be like a 4 or 5 seed though in the playoffs. I don't know if we're gonna be good enough to win, but um I think we did. I think we got slightly better, but the question is the rest of the teams get better? And unfortunately, we never get better via the draft, which is which going forward we need to start doing that. And even if it's getting a role player with a second round pick or something, we need to do that. But
Yeah, they were saying not Livingston, but there's a. I should have wrote this down. There's a Bucks player. They drafted him. He's looking really good. It's like his second or third year, and man. Anyway, but yeah, it wasn't Livingston because didn't they cut they release Livingston
Livingston is he's still with the team now. He played in
summer.
summer league and he did fine. I, Andre Jackson, he's still with the team, and I like his physicality in his defense, but sometimes he has little issues turning the ball over and not shooting as well. So the one we drafted last year was the
AJ
sixth.
Green's going to be good too. Forgot
Oh,
about
AJ,
him.
yeah. Well, AJ Green had a great true shooting percentage last year, even better than Giannis. And
And the Bucks
you know,
they drafted Mark Sears too. He was good in
Mark
college.
Sears from Alabama,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. He was an All American. He's just a little on the smaller side, but the dude can shoot. He's quick, and so I guess
Tyler
the
Smith.
only Tyler Smith. Now he had a really poor summer. A summer league is he was shooting in the 30% overall, not just threes. And at one point he was 1 for 18 from three. So I know ESPN called him out as one of the four top disappointments in the summer league.
Well, I don't listen to anything ESPN says. They're a bunch of
Yeah,
frauds.
I understand where you're coming from on that. They
Only
haven't.
thing they're good at is telecasting games. That's about it. You
Yeah.
know, you got Booger McFarland on there. I just want to reach for the TV and just slap him so hard.
What I'm really worried about with ESPN, as you probably heard, is they are buying the NFL Network and the Red Zone. And I
Well, for
love the
you,
Red Zone as a fantasy football player. When the Packers aren't playing, I have Red Zone on the rest of the day, and I'm watching that. And they're ESPN, they're gonna screw it up,
yeah.
and I love Scott Hansen. He goes 7 hours with no interruptions, no commercial football, and I love that. And he says, yeah, I don't go to the bathroom the whole 7 hours. It's like,
What's he wearing a diaper?
I don't know. He says he just doesn't drink much before, and it's but they're going to put ads in it. And because I the one time I did that joke, I was watching Red Zone, and my wife, she goes, oh, can you take the garbage out? And I said, sure, next commercial, honey. and, and
Yeah.
then she came through the room again, and she heard the 7 hours of uninterrupted. And then she
Yeah, I don't do that fantasy football stuff anymore. So if I can watch a Packer game and I'm in the local market, thank
yeah,
God.
yeah,
That's all I need, you know.
yeah,
So that's all I care about.
yeah,
I might go to a game or two, and
yeah.
whatever. Um,
We're going to the preseason game on the 23rd, so of August against the Seahawks. We'll be in town for my granddaughter's birthday. So
okay, cool.
yeah, so we have the Milwaukee season tickets. So it'll it's nice. We get 3 games, and so, but there's one thing I wanted to say. The Our audience probably doesn't love this, but one of my favorite baseball players passed this week, Ryan Sandberg. And even though he was a Cub, I was the second baseman, so I loved watching him, and I just wanted to send a R.I.P. to Ryan Sandberg. I know he was kind of the superstar. He was humble. He was you know wasn't braggadocious. He was just, the kind of superstar you want, and I just think I really miss watching him play.
Yeah, it's been a crappy year, 2025 so far, and it's
Yeah. Oh yeah. Uh, the Hulk and the Ozzy Osbourne, Malcolm Jamal Warner, all in the past couple of weeks, and Ryan Sandberg. Yeah. Hopefully we get some better news.
yeah,
Um,
top it off with the Packers Super Bowl. That'd be nice.
there you go. There you go.
So yeah, I think the Bucks will get past the first round in the playoffs. Depending on like you got injuries. Is Tatum? When's
Yeah,
Tatum going to come back? Is he going to be back for the playoffs? Because he's out all next year
probably.
too, right? Because he
Yeah,
got hurt.
he tore his Achilles, I think.
he did the same thing Halliburton did,
Yeah.
but he was before Halliburton.
Right.
But
Right.
but still depends on how the recovery goes and everything. So um, the switch to Badger football,
Yeah.
I think from what I've read, heard, I don't, NIL just ruined college sports, and it's just you got you know like Texas has people on a visit, and they have all these different like Lamborghinis and Ferraris and all these high end sports cars out on display. And if you
Yeah.
come with us and make this money, you could buy one of these. And you
Yeah.
know, I don't know. I think Wisconsin is gonna, they're picked to finish towards the back of the Big Ten this year. I don't know. Dylan Jones and forgot the other running back, but they're looking promising
Yeah,
this next
I
year.
like Dylan, and I think the tough part with the Badgers this year is their schedule. Uh, Michigan, Ohio State, Oregon, Alabama, and normally we get Northwestern, no Northwestern, no Rutgers, no none of the easy games. So the line on it is Badgers wins are 5.5 is what Vegas predicts their win total will be. So this might be a second year without a bowl game. Now, as in most years, I think the key is, yeah, obviously we had quarterback injury issues, and so is Billy Edwards out of Maryland. He seems like he could be pretty good, but I think that's obviously going to be a key. And there was another stat I heard that last year the Badgers were 134th in tackles for losses. So that's like, whew. I mean, if your defense isn't, making people, you know, lose yards, you're going to have a long season. And so I know we've gotten bigger this year in the off season and things. So I think that's another key too. So um, I just want them to at least see them get better on the field. I'm not expecting much. I'm expecting like 5 wins to be honest, but I want to see them at least get better.
Yeah, I mean it's so hard because you don't know from one week to the next if you're going to lose someone to the portal. So
Yeah.
getting all high on somebody, and next thing you know, they're out of the portal and they're playing for a different school, like the next, whatever. It's a joke, but some of the guys that have stuck around through all that, like Emilio Ogard, he sounds like he's looking good in practice.
Yep.
Dylan Jones, and I can't think of the other running back. It's number 7 and number 13, I think they are.
Yeah.
But anyways, I mean, they're both guys that they want to go out there and they want to hit you, you know,
Yeah.
and they got a lot of athletic, wide receivers. So if they can get a quarterback to get them the ball, that'd be great. Defense, make your tackles, keep your assignment and don't blow it, I guess. And we'll see what happens in football. Like I said, football has just a sour taste in my mouth, like as far as college because of the NIL, and even like college basketball. I mean,
Oh yeah.
it's like, I mean, look at AJ Store, 6 schools
Oh
in 6 years, or 8 schools, whatever.
yeah.
It's the thing is 8 schools in 8 years because it's high school 4 years and four.
Sure.
Just, what a joke, you
I
know.
mean, look how well he did for the Badgers. Then he goes to Kansas, for the big payday, and he sits on the
He'd
bench.
be in
And
the NBA right now if he would have stayed at Wisconsin.
oh yeah, yeah,
He'd be
yeah.
John Tonje, but better,
Oh yeah, yeah,
you know. But he wanted to chase the money and whatever. It means, I guess it is what it is. But that's why I like rooting for the underdogs, like I always say, because you got like Wisconsin, who are never able to get like, fired, like, back in the 90s, Barry Alvarez did awesome with the Badgers, and
sure.
we had Bull Ryan with the Badgers, and even Greg Gard. No one gives Greg Gard any credit, but look what he's done
Oh yeah,
with the they're always picked to finish 12th in the Big Ten.
yeah.
Cool. It's like,
And
here, hold my beer. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you got they lost people last year to the draft, or Blackwell tested out NBA, came back, which I think was huge. But then you got like You picked up Braden Carrington, 6'5". He's a senior transfer. Nick Boyd, 6'3", senior.
Yeah.
You got Elijah Gray, 6'9", coming back. He's a transfer portal. He's a senior. Andrew Rhodes, 6'6", senior. Then you got Austin Rapp, 6'10", sophomore.
Yeah,
Garlic.
that'll be nice. I mean, Nolan Winter, I think, is going to take a step up this year. Obviously, he was good last year, but uh, I expect good things from him. And
Yeah, and you got a couple of guys like Alex, whatever, I can't, Bielauskis or Bielauskis or whatever. I think he's from Australia, I believe,
yeah,
or
hmm
Lithuania. But then you got, there's like two guys that are from like the league or the area that Nikola Jokic came
oh,
from.
yeah,
So you got these foreign guys that are coming over that, they're wily in how they play. And the 6'10", I think that Alex, whatever, was making waves. I think in FIBA this summer,
yeah,
he was
okay,
doing really good. So, and of course you got a hometown guy from up here, Zach Kinziger, who was a 4-star recruit coming out of. So hopefully he can do well. And I was
yeah,
kind of hoping
Jack Janicki,
his
yeah,
brother went to Illinois State, and I was hoping that his brother would have transferred to Wisconsin because they were awesome up here in De
yeah,
Pere. They won a state championship, 3 years ago, and but he's staying for another season down in Illinois State. So I just I look at this roster and I think we lost Tanjay and um, uh, Stephen Crowell, but
yeah,
I think we got a hell of a lot better this cycle of the transfer portal. And I think what it is you got these players that are seeing what Greg Gard can do and
yeah.
how they're predicted to finish every year, and they always prove people wrong. You know what I'm saying? So
Well, I think also that Greg Gard also showed he could be a little more flexible with the offense, and kind of alter things a little to the talent he had. And I think from what I heard on the Locked On Badgers podcast is that that's the players know that, and they're open to coming to Wisconsin because of that. So
one thing I want to see, what I don't think is going to happen, is I think I think I've mentioned it before. There's a kid that went to Oregon that Vaughn Carvala. He's like one of the top seniors this next year in the high school basketball.
hmm
He transferred to uh, a high school in Arizona for his senior year,
oh
trying to
wow.
play against better competition to make him better going into his freshman year after this year of college. But I'm thinking that makes sense when it's like make him better. He's already one of the top 20 players in the country, but I
Yeah.
suppose you got NIL money that's going to get thrown at you in when you go into college. So good for him though. That's awesome. A kid coming from a small town that
Yeah.
his first instinct is to dunk on people. He reminds me of Andre Kirilenko. Just his body frame, and
Oh, okay.
I think I sent you a video of
Yeah,
him,
you did. You did.
and
Yeah.
yeah, it's we'll see what happens with him. But I wish him nothing but the best. That's awesome that you're out there making waves and you're out there dunking on people that are like a head taller than you, and it's pretty cool.
Right.
I think the Badgers are going to finish in the top 5 in the Big Ten. Like
Yeah.
then, I don't pay attention to these polls that these clowns at ESPN put up because
Yeah.
it's just clickbait more or less.
Well, if you look, they always say that, and then the Badgers usually are in the top four, every year, finishing. So the Badger staff knows what they're doing. They get.
And
I'm
one thing I want to mention, I know we talked about the Badger football program, but I think Luke Fickle was trying to implement his way, but I think he soon found out that his way wasn't the Wisconsin way. I
Yeah.
think they're going to go back to pound the rock and
Yeah.
have the running game open the passing game.
Now, when Luke Fickle came here, didn't anyone talk to him about Gary Anderson? Do you remember him when he came in?
Yeah,
He wanted smaller, quicker linemen. They wanted to run the spread, and he was then he complained that, oh, I can't recruit the athletes I want because of Wisconsin's academic, and it's like excuses. It's like you don't go to a land of big farm boys and then try to, do something different. It's
yeah,
frustrating.
it's crazy. And then you see on X or Twitter, whatever, social media, and always, different recruiting like pictures and videos and this and that, and it's just, you know, I think I think Wisconsin. I mean, you know what Madison's like. I think it's a bigger city, but it's not like it's one where you can get in trouble. You can get in trouble, obviously. I mean,
Anywhere, but yeah.
but I mean, it's more kind of like laid back. I mean, you look at like Charles Woodson when he's signing with Green Bay. It's like there's nothing to do in Green Bay. What am I going to do? He was out in Oakland getting in trouble with Marquise Anderson,
Yeah,
back in the day. So
yeah,
I think I don't know if they come and they actually focus on like their skill and their sport. I think you can be successful. I mean, it's just you can't just put on the equipment and expect to be great. You got to work at being great.
yeah. Oh, exactly.
So I mean, speaking of God, I was just thinking about as I was talking about you can't get really in trouble in Madison. I was thinking of Quintez Cephas. What the hell
Yeah.
happened with him? He went to the Lions and got in
hmm
that gambling thing. And he got disappeared.
Well, he just got signed by
Did he?
someone else. Yeah. So we'll see. He hadn't played for a while, so I remember him going to Detroit and you know doing a few things, and then yeah, disappearing. So
He would have been better off staying in Wisconsin.
oh yeah, yeah,
You got a lot of
definitely.
these players that who did he sign with?
I'll have to look that up, but I remember
He
seeing his
tried
name.
out with the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, I guess whatever.
Yeah.
um, another small market team. What do you think about what the Brewers are what they're cooking down in Milwaukee?
Um, I love it. I mean, just the style and how, and they're hitting the ball so consistent. I mean, wow, was it 8-2 today? I think right now, and it's then even when the Cubs came in, the Cubs have been doing well. They handled them 2 out of 3. Um, I like it. I hope. Obviously when you don't have a rich owner, like other teams do, you just have to make better decisions. You got to get guys who complement each other, and I think a lot of credit goes to Pat Murphy and the general manager. It's like I think they're doing it's kind of funny how they took the Dodgers, they swept them in both of the series, and the Dodgers have like 3 times the salary that the Brewers do. So that's I
It's
think that's
crazy.
yeah, yeah, it is. That's so hats off to the Brewers, for that. They're doing well. Hopefully they can consistently do it, and they have the depth to, because baseball's a long season, 162 games
Well,
in the playoffs.
they
So
just they just made some moves on Thursday, didn't they? Didn't
yeah,
they got an outfielder and a couple pitchers and a closer and
yeah. I
so
I they don't immediately just jump at me, but I like the fact that hey, they see something. Hey, this team's good, and no Brewer team has had this many wins since the 1982, team, at this point. So, you know how well that went. So, um, I'm glad the management saw, hey, we got something here. Let's go try to make it better. So that's encouraging, and we'll have to wait and see. And you knew they weren't going to spend the big money on Suarez, that hot hitting third baseman from the Diamondbacks. I think the Mariners got him, but
yeah. But I
you
mean,
know
you made it this far without him. Why do you need him?
exactly,
You
and
know what I'm
it's
saying? If
yeah,
anything, they maybe they got a speedy outfielder. They got
uh
a hell of a closer out of Arizona, right?
that's the important thing. The
And then you got
pitching.
you got Miguel, don't you? And I mean, did they
hmm
keep uh did they keep Quintana? Jose Quintana. They keep him.
I
The
believe
pitcher.
so.
I mean, you got Peralta's 12-5.
Hmm.
Quinn Priester's 10-2. Quintana's 7-4. Misiorowski's 4-1. And I tell you what, he's gonna be if they can keep him. And he was setting. What was that stat? Him and Peralta, whatever. I don't know. He just throws the ball fast. That's all I know.
Well, when
He's
you're throwing 102 miles an hour, and it's like that's crazy. And plus, being so tall like that, just I can't imagine how it looks coming at you, that fast and with that long arm, man.
it's like a
That's
Randy Johnson reincarnation.
oh
It's
yeah,
opposite him, but same concept.
yeah,
But I
yeah.
mean, then you got Andrew Vaughn, who they
Ooh.
got from the White Sox.
It's crazy, but he really wasn't playing. He only had like 14 RBIs with the White Sox, and then in half as many games, he has more RBIs than that, and he's been crushing it. Hit
He's
that
got.
big
Let
grand
me
slam
see.
against the Cubs. Wow.
He's got. Um, what did I say? He had like 15 home. He's had like 50. He's just crazy numbers since joining the Brewers.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
You
Then
know
you got
what?
guys like Isaac Collins and Yelich. Yelich is playing MVP caliber baseball. Frelick.
It's nice to see that again. Yelich has got 20 home runs, again now. So that's really important to get, you know. Because anyone can get through a lineup with the one or two hot guys, but when you got so many guys who are capable of hitting the ball well, that's gonna make it tough. Obviously, he's scoring 8 runs today. They don't have any offensive issues right now. So
Well, and they scored 16 last night.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
You
I know
know,
the Nationals aren't that good, but still, it's like that's a lot of runs off major league players, man. That's
yeah, professionals, right?
yeah,
It's crazy. And
yeah,
Churrio's playing awesome as always.
yeah.
Um, Contreras, he has 45 RBIs. So he's doing good. I mean, it's a good year so far for Wisconsin sports. If you think about it, I mean,
Yeah.
the offseason hype with the Packers and what we're seeing in training camp with some of the young guys, Golden, the Bucks making moves, getting younger. The Brewers are getting, they're a younger team, and I know Peralta had a bad outing. I think his last game, but you're gonna have that. I mean, it is what it
Oh
is.
yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, as long as you got a coach that's putting pancakes and stuff in his back pocket during the games, I guess that's all you need.
Fantastic. I love pancakes.
God, it reminds me of myself. I do something like that. Sitting there.
Well, that's why I like when my grandson comes over because that's the only time my wife makes pancakes. It's like, all right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy to think of like you got like I always say all the time. You got the Brewers are a small market. They're always proving people wrong. The Packers are a small market. They're one of the best
Mhm.
branded sports teams in America and in the world, let alone. And it's always so cool to see like these smaller market teams always shut
Mhm.
people up. It's always
Definitely.
it's great to see. And um, is there's family night tonight, correct?
Yes. Family Night tonight. It's the Packers.com will be streaming it for us people who don't live in Wisconsin anymore. So I can watch that tonight. So that'd be
I'll
great.
have it on my phone. My kids will be taking over the TV watching the SummerSlam
Oh, nice, nice.
WWE. So it's
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever. I mean, it's. Oh, one thing I didn't mention too
Yeah.
is with the Packers. When is the last time that Packer fans weren't having panic attacks about a kicker during the preseason?
I know.
He
And
finally missed his first field goal this last week.
I know he's like 28 out of 29. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's like. Yeah, well, I'm sure us Packer fans will find other stuff to complain about, but it's nice not to have to worry about that.
Well, that's absolutely crazy.
Yeah,
What time is family night? 7 o'clock?
yeah,
6:30?
it's
7
7
o'clock?
o'clock. Yep.
Is that Eastern or is that?
No, that's 8 o'clock Eastern, 7
Yeah.
Central.
Okay. Well, Mystery Chuck, there's a hour and 5 minutes going here, and we covered quite a bit.
Yeah, we did.
Um, I'll reach out and get you back on this season yet.
Okay, sounds
How's
good.
that sound? Where can people find you at on social media?
Oh, right now when it's Twitter at crmets23.
And I was trying to find here. I did trying to find my handles. I started an Instagram one for the simple fact of I wanted to like stream like my podcast to Instagram, but
Oh,
you realize you got to have 1,000 followers first, so I'm not there yet.
okay.
So it's just on YouTube for now. But um, again, like starting off the show, I did a shout out to the Ohana Packers network. Iowa Joe. On Twitter, you can find Ohana Packers at Ohana_Packers. They have a website, ohanapackers.org, articles, recipes, um, merchandise. I know they put out a lot of good articles on there. Carlos Silva, he's does a lot. He does it like 3 articles a week on the Packers. It's crazy, but it's good articles, good reads. You can find me on Instagram at cheesetalk_pod, on Twitter at cheesetalk_pod, YouTube at cheesetalk podcast, and on TikTok at cheesetalk_pod. I got stuff all over the board. Yeah, it's crazy, but it's that time of year where stuff's popping up and stuff is moving. So it's always never a dull moment. But I am coaching youth football this year, so
Fantastic.
um, I'll be on when I can. I'm planning on being on Fridays, Friday night, Saturday night, and maybe doing like a recap with Iowa Joe from
Oh,
uh,
nice.
from Ope after Sunday night games or Sunday afternoon games.
Great.
So yeah, well, I appreciate you being on, and
No problem.
go
My
Pack Go
pleasure.
on Wisconsin. This is my crew. Bucks and six, fear the deer,
Yep.
all
And
the above.
remember, as always, go
Go
pack,
Pack
go.
Go. All right, thanks, Chuck. Appreciate it. Have a good
Yep.
night.
Yep. You too.